Hello, this is a video I don't think I'd ever thought I'd ever make, but there's been stuff that's happened recently that just sort of inspired this to come out. Um, if you don't know who I am, I'm Kim Calderon. I go by Kim. That's what most people call me, but I'm 21 years old. I've been cubing for almost 12 years. I started competing in 2015, so I've been competing since I was 10 years old. And I'm sure you heard trigger warning to anyone who is triggered by mention of sexual abuse, especially if it relates to minors. Um, because that's what I'm going to talk about today. Because I'm sure you've heard about the Alex Bohack news. Basically, he blackmailed an underage girl into sending photos of herself. When he was of age, he was 19 years old. He's like a year and a half younger than me. And got arrested for it, got a lot of charges, and he's gonna burn in hell in jail. That's it. But he was a cuber. He was like 19th in the world for pyramid, so he was a pretty well-known cuber, at least in his local community, because he'd place well at these competitions. And I knew people who know him, and they're like, he seemed like a chill dude. Like, they never thought that happened, but like, others were like, they're not exactly surprised. He seemed kind of weird. So like, you never really know sometimes, but sometimes you do get those vibes. I guess the reason I want to talk about this because he was a cuber, and this happened to a girl. And this community, if you don't know, is majority children. Like, when I go to compete now, I realize how old I feel because I'm like in my 20s now, and everyone competing has their parents, and they're like 9 or 10 years old. They're like, they're all really, really young. And I just have this interesting perspective that most don't, being a girl in the community, because 90% or so of the community is men. And I've sort of grown up in this community with this majority men since I was really young throughout the years. I did kind of stop cubing during the pandemic for a little, but it's not like I can erase all the years before that. It shaped my life for better or worse. But I just kind of want to talk about it and maybe warn or like spread awareness of like what it is to be like a girl in this community sometimes. So yeah, when I started competing, there were even less girls competing than there are now. It'd be me and maybe like 2 or 3 other people because I'm from the Northeast in the U.S. And that was it. And as a result, the friends I gravitated to were entirely men. Like, I'd be in these group chats and be the only girl, essentially. And, like, to this day, that's the case. And I find that cubers tend to have, like, a bigger age gap in their friendships, which makes sense because there is, like, a pretty wide range of cubers, like I mentioned. Like, some of them are 9 or 10 years old. But then you get along with someone that's like 13 or 14. But like at that such a young age, those 2 or 3 years mean a lot when it comes to maturity. And I was just always told like, oh, you're so mature for your age. I didn't know you were like 12 when everyone else around me is like 14 or 15. And now that I look back at it, I'm like, I don't know how to feel about that. But maybe I was more mature than them. But being the only girl in those groups, I realized how like easy it is to get manipulated at a young age. Because I think I'm sure some cubers have gone through this where they don't really have that much friends at school, but then they go to competitions and it's easy for them to socialize there, because it's just a different environment than school is sometimes. I had moved a lot as a kid, so I'd have to keep making friends and stuff like that. And I'm more of like a quiet, shy person too, so that was always hard. But with competing, it's like you're always talking passionately about something, super loudly sometimes, always complaining, like, my round went really badly, stuff like that. So it was like, I was on like a whole other spectrum of being social at these competitions. But I don't even know, I'm sorry, I did not script this video. I had just gotten manipulated as the only girl at times because I just deal with these comments that I'd only hear because I was a girl, and they'd be framed as like dark humor or like a joke, and I just kind of had to let them happen because I didn't have any other friends, and I'm like, I'm scared that if I say something, I'm just gonna have no one in my life, and I just didn't want to do that. So I kind of just let these comments happen. They were pretty bad at times. I don't want to get into the specifics, but I was just always told, like, you're so chill, like, with these jokes and whatnot. They said that, it made me feel like I was like a cool person for letting it happen, when in reality I should have just been standing up for myself because it wasn't okay. And I kind of just hope other girls in the community don't feel like that. Obviously times have changed. It's not 2017 anymore. During the pandemic, luckily a lot more people went woke and realized what they were saying was not okay. But a lot of times those comments I dealt with the dark humor were kind of just signs that there are some sick people I knew. One of them in particular, probably like the most aggressive like harassment I dealt with, resulted in him getting banned for essentially assaulting someone, and he's still banned to this day until 2028. He had never done anything physical to me, but the fact that he did do that was just not surprising to me in the slightest. Just given how like perverted his comments get. So in this community, there's a lot of other cubers who have gotten arrested for crazy stuff, and almost every single time it has to be targeted towards a woman. And in this community, as you can see, if you have all these sick people who, I'm not saying it's everyone, but like, people are just gonna exist like this. It's kind of like it's just gonna happen, unfortunately. But it's just like, if you're a girl, especially if you're underage in this community, you're just an easy target for these people. And you might not realize it at the time because for whatever reason you might want to fit in and be like one of the cool guys around, which I especially tried to feel like as when I was younger, because like I was more of a tomboy back then. But yeah, these people can really take advantage of you, especially if you're more of a shy person, and like give them attention that they may or not have gotten otherwise, stuff like that. So I don't really know what I'm getting at this, but if you're a girl who, or like just anyone in the community that ever feels uncomfortable, even if something didn't happen at a competition, please just try to tell a delegate or let people be aware, because there's a very good chance you're not the only one with a story. People will start to come out and be like, yeah, that person was weird. Yeah, they're not surprised. And something that didn't happen at a competition, I know, got that one person I mentioned banned. And because everything he ever said to me was in group chats and whatnot. But yeah, I hope the WCA does take these cases more seriously. And yeah, just look out for red flags, everyone. I really don't know what I was getting at this. Yeah. Happy Women's History Month, I guess. And burn in hell, Alex.